Would you like to be able to learn a tune by ear? I'll show you how in this video. Let's get started. Hello, I'm Pete Martin. Thanks for watching. For many more videos of mandolin, fiddle, improvisation, and other music subjects, click the subscribe banner below. If you want to be notified when new videos are posted, click the bell icon. Players interested in improvisation should check out my Improv from Scratch series, available at this link. Learning by ear is something we have done our whole life. As a kid, you learned how to speak by hearing speech around you and by imitating those sounds. I'll bet you didn't start by speaking whole sentences. You probably learned one word at a time, and your parents probably started with easy words and not supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. If you didn't get it, you kept listening and trying to make that sound. At some point, you put words together and eventually learned to converse fluidly. We learn music by ear exactly the same way. You do this by hearing a sound, by remembering what that sound was, and then playing that sound. This means first you have to get the sound in your mind, and then you find it on your instrument. If you hear someone give a talk, when the talk is done, can you recite word by word what the speaker said? Almost no one can. You'll remember certain points, but mostly you'll remember the general theme and ideas of the speech. The same thing happens when we learn music. Almost no one can hear a tune and remember it exactly as someone else played it. And because of this, there's usually two reasons. One, the tune was played faster than you can remember, and two, there were too many notes to remember. The speed issue can be slowed by what are called slowdowner apps or programs. There are several for your computer or device like a tablet or a phone. Some are the Amazing Slowdowner, AnyTune, Audacity, Transcribe, Slow MP3, Best Practice, Slow Gold, and there are many more. Some are free like Audacity, some cost a little bit. Like any tool, you also have to spend some time learning how to use that app or program. Slowing things down makes it much easier to hear the actual notes being played. The too many notes issue is solved by only playing a few notes at a time. You can play a measure, a half measure, one note at a time, or what seems to be a logical phrase. As an example, did you ever have to recite a poem to the class in school from memory? Maybe kids don't have to do this today, but when I was in school, this was a common thing we had to do. And nobody was able to memorize the poem by reading it once. Most of us had to recite it one line at a time, several times until we'd remember that line. Then you'd learn the next line. Eventually you put all the lines together, and then you'd be able to recite the poem. You learn a tune by ear in exactly the same manner. So my suggestion for learning a tune is as follows. Listen to the whole tune three times at normal speed. Then listen to this tune slowed down three times. When you're ready to start learning the tune, play a very short section of the tune. After you play that short section, sing out loud what you just heard. You may have to play that section again or even a shorter section. After you sing that out loud, compare what you sang to what you heard. When what you heard and what you sang are the same, then find those notes on the instrument. Do this by singing one note at a time, playing a note, and narrow down the note choices by the process of elimination. I'll go into this more in a minute. If you learned something useful from this video, please consider a donation. You can donate via PayPal at the email address on screen. Let's look at each of these steps in more detail. The purpose of doing these listenings is to make general observations. What is the form of the tune? Is it AABB, AABA, etc.? Do any of the sections have short repeating phrases? Is there any place where the tune moves higher or lower and repeats the same musical ideas? These observations can make learning the piece much easier when you arrive at those places. It is easier to memorize a short section than to memorize a long section. Play what seems like a logical musical phrase to you. Sing each note slowly out loud. Make sure you can clearly hear each note. If you can't, listen and sing again. Is what you sang what you heard? You may need to listen and sing the phrase again a few times to see. Sing the first note. Then play any note on your instrument and compare those two sounds. If the note you played was too low in pitch, the note you played and any note lower, you've just eliminated. If you play a note too high in pitch, that note and any notes that are higher in pitch are eliminated. Eventually, through trial and error, you will find the right note. This process of hearing and finding a note is critical to go through. After you do this enough, you will start to remember where these sounds are. Then when you hear a note, you will know right how to play it. This doesn't happen overnight. You need to do this enough over a period of time, and then you will be able to play anything you know the sound of in your mind. You will also learn to recognize sound of something as it is being played on your same instrument. In my private teaching, anyone who is stuck with this long enough has reached this point. It's really just simple ear training, and you get better at it by doing it a lot. I hope this helps you learn music by ear. I like to get feedback from folks, so please leave any comments or questions below. Subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon. Visit my website for books, instruction articles, and information on private lessons for fiddle or mandolin in Seattle, Issaquah, or anywhere using Skype or FaceTime. I'm Pete Martin. Thanks for watching.